I shouldn't have let it happen. She was my sister-in-law, and now there's no turning back. I found her curled up on the couch when I got home, cheeks wet with silent tears and her phone clutched like a lifeline. She'd driven hours to escape her crumbling marriage, my brother's marriage, and landed at our doorstep looking lost. Sarah was always the cautious one, prim, polite, predictable. But that night, vulnerability made her reckless, and well, I was a wreck waiting to be born. I told myself it was compassion when I offered her a glass of wine. In truth, it was relief. My marriage to Laura had started to freeze over. Distant glances at dinner, polite, "I love you"s that bounced off our living room walls without landing. In Sarah's tears, I saw warmth. In her quiet gratitude, a craving I'd almost forgotten. By the time she leaned her head on my shoulder, inhaling the faint scent of my cologne, the die was cast. Night draped itself around us, an accomplice in our small kitchen, whispering that no one would see. I felt alive for the first time in months, her breath hitching as our knees brushed. One accidental touch led to another until the world outside that cramped space blurred. My heart hammered in my chest as our lips met. Hers soft and searching, mine desperate for proof that I still felt something. When we finally broke apart, there was no triumph, only the sting of guilt. We crossed the line stamped "Do Not Pass." That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, Laura's been distant in a different way. She thinks it's stress. My brother calls every other day, asking about Sarah's recovery and hoping to reconcile. He doesn't know she's living with me, drinking my wine, crying in my arms under my roof. I know it's only a matter of time before something snaps. Her secret will come out, or mine will shatter from the weight of what I've done. 1. The unraveling. Every morning, I wake up to the sound of her shower running. The shrill hiss of hot water against tiled walls is a reminder that Sarah is here, sharing everything with me. My space, my guilt, my bed. I lie awake, listening to her hum a tune Laura used to sing, and I wonder, how far can I push this charade before it collapses? When she finally emerges, towel wrapped tight, hair dripping, her eyes meet mine with a mixture of shame and something warmer, darker. I want to reach out, to pull her close, but the ghost of my vows holds me back. Instead, I offer her coffee, and she takes it with a trembling hand. We never mention the past 3 weeks. Instead, we fill the silence with small talk about her job prospects. My latest project, my brother's looming divorce hearing, feels so mundane until I realize how ordinary our facade has become, yet how impossible it is to maintain. I try to call Laura sometimes to hear her voice and anchor myself back to the life I'm supposed to lead. But Sarah intercepts the calls, still on speaker when I step into the living room, pretending to sort mail. Her eyes dare me not to answer, and I don't. I collect the papers, stack them in neat piles, and watch her slide onto my lap before I even realize she's there. She smells like soap and something sweet, like betrayal and home. It drives me mad. 2. Tension in the shadows. There are nights when I lie in bed with Laura, her breathing slow and even, and I feel like an imposter. I stroke her hair, willing my stomach to unclench, praying a wave of love so fierce it'll erase every memory of Sarah's lips on mine. But instead, my fingertips linger on Sarah's cushion on the sofa, a makeshift pillow she abandoned when she came to ours, and I taste her absence. Last Thursday, Laura asked me about Sarah by name. "How's she holding up?" she said, voice clipped by worry. I told her she's unstable, that she needs space. Laura's brow furrowed. "If you say so," she whispered. Her eyes searched mine, as if looking for a clue. I felt an ice spike pierce my chest. "I love you," I mumbled, and she nodded before closing her book, trusting me. But shadows don't vanish at dawn. They lurk, waiting. In our bedroom mirror, I catch glimpses of guilt tracing my jawline. In dinner conversations, I dodge questions about my weekend. I lie so often that I forget the truth tastes different on my tongue. 3. First intimate reckoning. The first real reckoning came on a late Saturday afternoon. Sarah just left the bathroom when I found her collapsed against the sink, mascara streaking her cheeks. I'd been in the garage, hiding tools I suspected she might use to fix her flat tire. Hearing her sob, I rushed back inside. Before I could speak, she turned and leaned into me. This time, I didn't pull away. We tumbled onto the bed, clothes forgotten on the floor. Her skin was clammy. My hands shook. Over the next hours, it wasn't just lust. It was two wounded souls seeking solace. Every kiss was an apology. Every touch a plea for comfort. Her sighs were symphonies. My guilt roared like thunder. But at that moment, nothing else existed except the suffocating warmth and our shared sin. After, we lay tangled, heartbeats sinking beneath thin sheets. She pressed her ear to my chest, listening to the echoes of my remorse. "This was my fault," I whispered. "I did this." She stroked my hair, but there was no absolution in her eyes, only longing and fear. We parted at sunrise, each of us avoiding the reflection in the hall mirror as we dressed. 4. The weight of secrets. Keeping Sarah under my roof was easy compared to keeping her from the world. I'd warned her, no social media, no late-night text to my brother, no calls to mutual friends. But temptation has no lease. One afternoon, she slipped, messaged my brother a goodbye note, meant to provoke closure. I intercepted it, deleted, then held her trembling in the bathroom while I cleaned wet ink off the tiles. "It's okay," I said, but it wasn't. Her letter cited betrayal, but also love. My brother deserved better, but so did she. Yet right there, I realized I couldn't untangle our lives. The threads were knotted too tight. Fear crawled under my skin. Every knock on the door made me jump. Every ring of the phone felt like the judge's gavel. We cooked dinner together. Laughter forced, the potatoes burned. We watched old comedies, but the jokes died at the punchline. I'd glance at her when she thought I wasn't looking and see the same dread mirrored in my own eyes. 5. The second intimate reckoning. Our second encounter was born from panic. The day I heard my brother had dropped by to check on his wife. He was due any minute, and Sarah paced the hallway like a caged animal. She knew if he returned without answers, they'd hurt each other. I held her trembling hands. "You have to stay here," I said, voice tight. "Promise me." She nodded, eyes large. His knock came seconds later. We locked the bedroom door. I stayed with her, heart hammering, until deep into the night. When he left, 21 unanswered voicemails and texts, Sarah broke. She pressed herself against me, sobbing into my shoulder. Without thinking, I kissed her again, urgent, needy. The past weeks condensed into that moment. Pleasure, shame, desperation. We moved to the bedroom, where moonlight cut cold lines across her body. We made love behind shut doors, every pan a confession. The air was thick with regret. 6. The reveal. It was 2 days later when she told me. She was late. I watched her eyes widen, shared her panic. We bought a test. One line for control, one for life. We taped it to the mirror and waited. It felt like watching a bomb tick down. When a second line appeared, faint but undeniable, Sarah gasped and collapsed onto the floor. I knelt beside her, but my fingers trembled too much to help. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. "It's yours." Her voice cracked like a dam giving way. The words were beautiful and monstrous. Across the room, I saw myself, reflected in that shiny plastic stick, betrayer and father. I'd never lied so loudly to the woman I married. I'd never stolen so deeply from my family. Yet here I was, rootless and responsible for another life. 7. Collision course. From that moment on, our days became a countdown to confession. Sarah's mornings were spent clutching her stomach, an almost maternal tenderness softening her features. Every time I held her hand, a gentle, protective cradle, I felt both pride and terror. Life grows within her, a mingling of my blood and my sin. Laura sensed a shift. The distance between us grew colder than the earliest days of our marriage. I tried to draw close, touch her hand, offer help around the house, but she recoiled like a wild animal. Her eyes filled with questions I couldn't answer. When she pressed me on why dinner tasted of wine and why I smelled of another woman's shampoo, I only shook my head, excusing it as stress. My brother called again, this time with genuine relief in his voice. She's doing better. What did you do? I hung up without answering. My silence felt like nails on a chalkboard, screaming the truth. 8. Moral cliff edge. My life shattered in a single phone call. Laura's calm voice on the other end was the final blow. I need a divorce, she said, and the hammer fell. My breath caught. The room spun. I didn't fight. I couldn't. The guilt I'd carried had grown so heavy that letting her go felt like the only mercy I could afford. That night, Sarah and I sat on the floor of the empty master bedroom, our backs against the stripped bed frame. I stared at the peeling paint on the walls, at the place where our life used to be. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and I held her close, aware that in moments we had together lay the seeds of something tender, but also the wreckage of everything else. We talked in whispers. She asked what I would do. I had no answer. I was a man torn between the promise of a child and the ruins of my vows. I loved Laura once. I might still care for her. I had passion for Sarah. I might love her someday. But love is not a pill you swallow. It's a weight you bear. 9. Aftermath and reckoning. Weeks passed. My brother found out on his own. Overheard a voicemail I left accidentally in Sarah's room. The confrontation was brutal. He accused me of every sin imaginable: betrayal, theft of his marriage, betrayal of our family. He never asked if Sarah loved me. He only demanded justice. I felt cornered by his pain, by my guilt, by the life growing within her. Sarah left 2 days later, moved to a small apartment with her friend's help. She needed space, the doctor said. I paid the rent, visited her every evening. The child inside her was a constant presence, every flutter a reminder of what I'd done, of what I owed. When she cradles her belly, she hums softly, a lullaby that aches in my chest. I think of the life we created, and I wonder if 2 wrongs can ever make a right. Laura finalized the divorce in a haze of paperwork. Our home sold. I moved into a cramped studio closer to Sarah. I see her now in quiet moments, laughing as she sets the table, tears as she reads old emails from my brother. I'm both her savior and her captor. I hold her hand when she frets about motherhood. I kiss her stomach when the baby hiccups. But in the dark, I replay the events that led us here, wishing I could pry open time and undo every choice. 10. Reflection on the edge. Standing now at the edge of 2 worlds, I'm left with questions that have no answers. Have I betrayed everyone I ever loved for a chance at something real? Can love born of guilt survive? What kind of father will I be to a child conceived in sin? Every sunrise meets me with a fresh dose of regret. Every sunset with a longing for redemption. I'm learning that morality isn't a path of clear signposts. It's a labyrinth of desires and duties, where every choice carries a shadow. Sarah and I walk this maze together, sometimes hand in hand, sometimes stumbling alone. Our future is unwritten, our family broken and remade in uneasy shapes. As the months pass and the baby grows, I carry both fear and hope. Fear that our secret will destroy us. Hope that life can bloom from the most tangled roots. I cannot promise absolution, only an unvarnished truth. I will love this child, and I will strive to protect her from the chaos that birthed her. That, I hope, might be enough. I shouldn't have let it happen, but it did. And now I live every day suspended between love and betrayal, between guilt and a chance at grace. The secret still burns between Sarah and me, a glowing coal we carry wherever we go. One day it may turn to ash or flame, or maybe something new. Until then, we walk this path together, Two sinners learning what it means to become parents in the crucible of our own making.